see everybody joining up here. Needs more coffee. How's everybody doing today? Hey, Angela, good to see you. Woman of God, hey, from Texas there. CG, member of the storm, hey there, good to see you. DW of Roblox, hello. Chuck, good to see you again, man. Up in Spokane, Washington. Ford Tough with the whoop whoop, good to see you there. Brianna, right on time, perfect. Snack Pack, hello. Gray, hello. Missy Phillips, hello. User 616, lots of numbers, waving right back at you. Christine in Minnesota, hello. Nikki, Sakura, Paula, Genevieve, Faith, Andy. It's good to see all you guys here. Jill, remember the storm? Good to see you here as well. Off Earth, good to see you. Holly, loving the shirt. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. It's my Easter themed shirt. It's Tactical Peeps. I mean, come on. Another 9-line shirt. They have the best seasonal designs. And, hey, Vilma, thank you so much for the love from NYC. Awesome. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Blue Easter is here. Amber's already sending fire over. Thank you so much for that. Pam, member of the storm as well. Montana. Next week, Belgium. Wowza. Christy with some love for the shirt as well. Thank you so much. I had to do it. It's almost Easter. Had to get the peeps out. Them's my peeps. You's my peeps. You know. Diversion, thank you so much. Yeah, we live in Tornado Alley. So, you know, that's just how it goes here. And we've had our fair share of run-ins with them, and I'd like to avoid that if all possible for the rest of my life. So that's cool. Pam, thank you so much for the lightning bolt. Amber, thank you so much for the rose. Appreciate that. Yeah, it's been Samantha for the Babbity Rabbity. Thank you so much for that. Realistic Mystic with lipstick with roses. Thank you so much. Carrie and Amy, thank you for the roses as well. Appreciate that. Yeah, inclement weather, you know, after going through some too close encounters, I'm the guy who's always staying up watching the radar, making sure that if something goes south, I can get the rest of the family to the storm shelter as quickly as possible. So, yeah, don't enjoy it. Don't enjoy the lack of sleep that comes with that at all. Not one bit. Faith, thank you so much for the lightning bolt. Bad Wolf, thank you so much for the hand heart. Appreciate that. Baby Witch, thank you so much for the roses. Somebody said it was their first live. Who was that? Who was this is? I swear I saw it. Yeah, vote of Little Rock got hit hard. Seeing lots of footage of it, and it's way too familiar. Don't want it. Don't want it. Yeah, I can't find it now. Sorry. Somebody said it was their first live. So welcome. If it is your first live, welcome. We have, if you've seen the normal posts that I do, it is very similar format here. We have several AITA-ish stories to read, and we will read those through and then discuss feedback. We'll get into the ascon scale. We'll get into potential solutions, all kinds of stuff like that. So we have several to read here. Before we do that, we've got a couple of notes to get through, but just catching up on everything here. Thank you guys so much for the gifts. Appreciate that. Baby Witch CG, Black Kitten, thank you so much for that. Amy, thank you so much. She says I have the best voice. Thank you. Appreciate that. Andrea, it's your first live. And Justice, your first live too. Welcome, guys. Welcome. I'm glad that you made it. We do this every Wednesday at 4 p.m. Central Time. Jaylee with all the lightning bolts. Nikki, look at you. She made it there. Remember the storm with the lightning bolts as well. If it is your first time, lightning bolts are how we show love. So if you like something that's going on, then just throw some lightning bolts up. And that is how I, at a glance, know that you guys dig the vibe. So thank you so much for that. Blue Easter, thank you for sharing the live. That is always extremely helpful. Don't forget to share the live if you like what's happening here and you want more people to see it. After all, you know, the world isn't going to classify all the assholes that are in the world itself. It needs our help. And of course, you know, we'll never be done, but by golly, we can give it a good effort. We can give it a damn good effort here. Did Candy Thunder explain spicy books to me yet? I should really read them. We talked. Actually, I don't know that we talked a little bit about it. I talked with some. Mary, thank you for subscribing and becoming a member of the Storm. Awesome. I will get a VIP group invite sent to you after the show today. So awesome. Candy Thunder is in the house. Somebody said hello, but I haven't seen her name here yet. Where's she be? Where's she be? There she is. Hey, there's Candy Thunder. Lightning bolts for Candy Thunder. Apparently, we need to talk about spicy novels later. Spicy books. Oh, Nikki, your son's been in the hospital for 8 days now. Good gravy. Man, sorry that you're going through that. Jaylee, thank you for subscribing and becoming a member of the Storm. Nikki, yeah, good vibes heading your way. Dang. Hate that, man. Whenever stuff's going on with your kids, it's the worst because you feel just completely powerless. Chuck. Chuck says, have I recovered from the PTSD cake issue the other night? I don't think so. So for those who don't know, I do a live on YouTube as well. It's either Sunday nights or Monday nights. This past one was Monday night, and something triggered me, and it was about cake. And then we had like 2 or 3 stories about cake, and I was just unusually riled up. So maybe I can channel some of that same energy today. Hopefully we don't have any cake stories. Tony, do we have any cake stories? No cake stories. Okay, so at least I won't be triggered like that. I got home and Candy Thunder was like, so what happened there? I'm like, I don't know. So something just triggered me about cake, and I ran with it. She's like, it was good. It was entertaining. It was thoroughly entertaining. But wow. Like, yeah. KB, I'm with you. 50 Shades of Grey spicy. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it. Cake is not the safe word. No, Chuck. I don't know what was going on there, but that live from Monday on YouTube will get chopped up. So all of the stories that come from that, you guys will see posted as normal posts. And as you string them together, you'll know what I'm talking about. Lots of cake issues there. Oh my goodness. Thank you guys for all the gifts. Appreciate that. Shine Rio Day. Appreciate that. And thank you so much. And sending multiple pieces of cake here as well. Cake. Oh, there we go. It's cake. Yep. I think she's trying to trigger me, but being nice at the same time. Jess Corner Crafts, thank you so much for the lightning bolts. Megan, you as well. Angela, you as well. Thank you guys so much. Okay, a couple of notes before we dive in to the stories here. First of all, welcome. Glad to have you here. And second of all, the podcast with Tony Spark came out this past Sunday. Who has watched or listened to that yet? If you haven't, you got to go check it out. You have to. Heather, good to see you here. Pam, spicy cake. I think that's a thing. I have heard some things about spicy cake. So, yeah. We haven't gotten into the spicy books yet, but it's apparently a conversation going on now. Anyway, Tony Spark, the podcast with him came out on Sunday on YouTube and all of the podcast channels. Also, quick note about the podcast channels. Today's compilation came out a little bit later. It's my fault. We moved the podcast host from Podbean over to Megaphone, which is Spotify for podcasters. So that is good for all of you Spotify listeners. We'll have a lot more engagement on that side of things and a lot more tools to be able to do that. But I didn't realize whenever I moved it that it didn't move the scheduled things. It only moved the published things. So I fixed it. It's fine now. But if you were waiting for that this morning and we're like, what in the hell, Dusty? It's my bad. My bad. It's my bad. Hey, Tony Spark is on the chat here as well. You'll see him in there as Tony Holfeld. That's Tony Spark. Lightning bolts for Tony Spark as well. We have Thunder and Spark in the chat right now. Holy cow. There's been an ongoing joke, and I don't think it's a joke. I think they're serious. They're going to do a spin-off podcast that's Thunder and Spark with just them two. And maybe I'll be there just running the cameras. I don't know. Part 2, Jerry, is out. We went ahead and released part 1 and part 2 at the same time. Or part 2 came out like 30 minutes after part 1. So you can go watch part 2 right after the show. All right. Are you all ready for the first story of this live here on April 5th, 2023? This is a follower submission, and it is... Am I the astronaut for asking my husband to help pay his share of the bills? So I'm female 40 and my husband is 38. A little backstory. When I was 32, I lost my first husband to cancer. We had 2 boys who were 4 and 6 at the time. Dang. I met my now husband 7 months after my husband passed. We dated for 3 years before getting married. At the time, my credit wasn't good because I had been a stay-at-home mom for 5 years and my late husband didn't have life insurance. Crap! So I had over $10,000 in medical bills for him, plus all the other bills. I had started working 2 months after he passed. So my new husband and I decided that we would first work on getting him out of debt and then me since he had less debt. Eventually, we bought a house together. We had been living in the home where my late husband had passed in. Originally, my new husband was paying for the house and electric. I covered everything else. When COVID hit, we had to do a forbearance. This is when I learned that he had been making late payments. We had $600 in late fees. Excuse me. When we came out of forbearance, I took over the house payment. We have separate accounts. He is now out of debt, but only pays electric and gas. I pay nearly $3,000 every month in bills. He was supposed to give me some money to help with the house payment and the cell bill, yet he hasn't given me any money. He has gone out and bought a new trailer that needs work when we already have 3. Along with him getting a Harbor Freight credit card, a tube bender, smoker, and upgrading his phone, and got a smartwatch. Does asking him to help with his fair share make me a bad person? I don't want to sound like all I want is money. I have my boys to take care of still. I feel horrible because I'm getting into the mindset that if he doesn't start to actually help, I've taken care of myself and the boys on my own before and I can do it and will do it again. I'm also struggling with how to address the fact that he yells at the boys for not following through on things when he does the same thing. Trim that hasn't been done since we moved in, an outside water faucet that shocks you when you use it. Oh, okay, I should have done this a minute ago. And so many other things that he said he would do but hasn't. Instead, he tinkers with things that he wants to maybe build and sell. I don't want to be a complete asshole, yet I'm not sure what to do. Am I the asshole? Thoughts? Ay. Okay, I'm going to catch up here a little bit. Bobby, thank you for the love. Love the podcast. Cool. I love hearing from people who find us on the podcast and then connect with us on other platforms. And yeah, that's always interesting. It's always interesting to find people who find us that round. Suzanne, why did I cut my hair? It's getting warm. It was time to, I think I'm going to do a seasonal thing where it goes short. And then as it starts getting cooler in the fall, I will start letting it go again. Yeah, user 305-908, lots of other numbers. We really need a beard tutorial. Did it. Posted it today, finally. Heck yeah. Obviously, there's not a lot of people out of our followers that have beards, but we now have it on there. This woman is getting taken advantage of. Dixie says the one person, lots of red flags. She needs to pitch in immediately. Rowan says, not the a-hole. Jill, member of the storm, says, no, NTA. Walter, this man is a red flag parade. Oh, man. Thank you, Big Kahuna, for the beard love there. Appreciate that. Lots of dump him, NTA. How are you still married? That poor woman has 3 kids to raise now. Yeah. It's kind of feeling that way. Okay, so put yourself in his position, not his position, her position. If you had a significant other that wasn't paying their fair share and was appearing to waste their money on random shit, tinker shit, instead of pitching in, what would you say to try to get that corrected? And money's always a tough subject, and I understand that and why a lot of couples keep separate finances. We don't do that, but I think this is one of the dangers of keeping separate finances. Unanimous decision, Bad Wolf. It looks like it. Lots of NTAs. Oh, Sandra D says TT just now told you that I was live. It does that. It does some weird crap like that. I don't understand. So yeah, there has to be some communications here because they keep separate finances. That's the tough part. Like, how do you communicate whenever things go wrong? You have to communicate about it early, because if you don't say anything, then you're allowing that behavior to continue. But what do you say? I mean, it almost kind of feels like there needs to be some kind of family financial meeting where they sit down and they like spreadsheet everything out. And they're like, okay, here's what I'm paying. Here's what you're paying. and not get into the what are you wasting your money on, because I don't think you need to get into that yet. You just need to say that here's what I need you to pay to make this fair. Okay. Izzy, there's your shout out. Good to see you here in the live. So a lot of people are saying in here now, with separate finances, there needs to be one combined house account as well. But to figure out what goes in there, I love the stars. There's a shout out for you, courtesy of Candy Thunder. Figuring out what needs to go in that joint house account needs to be probably a spreadsheet meeting. Spreadsheet. I said it. You know what I meant. Spreadsheet meeting. It doesn't have to be that formal, but I think you've got to go down line item and say, look, here's everything that I'm paying for. And if you're into it for $3,000 a month right now, and he's into it for, we don't know, supposedly a whole lot less, then you've got to be able to show him where the imbalance is and show him how big that imbalance is. And he should want to pay his fair share. And if he bucks, then you can say, well, this is tough whenever I see you spending money on this other crap. Whenever I'm having trouble providing for the kids here because of this $3,000 a month that I'm having to pitch in, and it feels imbalanced. Allison makes a really good point here. She says, when suggesting joint accounts, never use you, always use us when talking bills. Don King is subscribed for the first time and now a member of the Storm. Welcome. Also, if you guys are interested in becoming a member of the Storm as well, you can hit the star at the bottom left or top center of your TikTok live screen. It will give you details about the perks, and one of those perks is becoming a member of the VIP group that we actually have on Facebook, and that group is very much worth being a part of. We are big fans of that group, and they've helped us with all kinds of stuff. CG says he's spreading shop buying toys instead of paying bills. Yeah. It's tough. I think you have to make it clear. Savina Ford also subscribing and becoming a member of the Storm. Welcome to the Storm. You're going to have to line item it to show him what the imbalance is. And if he bucks against that, then you're going to have to go into the stuff that he is spending his money on. But this is just one of the dangers of those separate finance things. And that, I think, to us is like, it's not worth it. Also, I don't want to have to worry about that side of things. If there is a sizable purchase going on, chances are we're going to talk to each other about it first, unless it was that one time and it was a truck, but we don't talk about that anymore. But that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it. Don, thank you for the love. Appreciate that. Kim, loving the AIT read-throughs. Thank you so much for that. Miranda with the sail away. Thank you so much. CG says, I meant spreading shit. It's funny. It's funny that, I basically had an autocorrect error while speaking, and you had an autocorrect error while commenting. Jacinta, thank you so much. If you guys are having trouble finding the podcast, if you're new to it, or if you are a podcast regular and are noticing some changes, it is because we ported it over to Spotify as our podcast host now, and did change the name too. So we had a rebrand. It is now the Dusty Thunder Podcast, and we are on a different host now. So if you, when in doubt, go to Linktree, which is linked in all of our bios for all of our socials, and you can follow the links that way to get to where you need to go. Shamed Angel, thank you so much for the roses there. Appreciate that. Lagertha, Pamela, thank you so much there. Again, Miranda with the lightning bolt. Thank you. Hey, Thunder Buddy Josh Schmutz is in the house, who's also a member of the Storm now too. Good to see you, buddy. I have my buddy Josh. I have one of these shirts right here. Only it's not purple, it's blue, but I've got one sitting here for you for your B-Day. Not the truck again, Nikki. Yeah. Well, I was getting ready to say, it was saying that we communicate about purchases, but I couldn't say that without acknowledging that one time where I caused some problems. What are you going to do? Yeah, lots of questions about the shirt. The Tactical Peep shirt is from 9 Line Apparel, and a lot of the shirts that I wear are from 9 Line. If you subscribe to their updates about their limited designs, you'll get first crack at this kind of stuff. So we're going with OP is not the asshole at all in this scenario because we know that she has to. We know that she has to breach the subject. We know that she has to talk to him about it. It's just going to be a touchy matter of how you do that. And I think in this case, it's got to be one of those things where you just approach it delicately. Like was suggested here, make sure that you use us instead of you. Make it non-accusatory and approach this from a teamwork angle so that it can be a, how do we better balance this? How do we make sure that, we've got enough left over to take care of the kids? How do we put ourselves in a better position? Which is tough when you have those separate finances, but you got to have a solution to this somehow. And I definitely wouldn't bring up the whole, I feel like I'm taking care of them by myself. I've done it before. I can do it again. That's obviously a last resort. I assume you love this guy. You would like to find a solution and be able to stay together, just be healthier. So explore that route and exhaust all possibilities there before pulling the ripcord and just saying, I'm not going to do this anymore. Hey, Ryan Klaus, my brother-in-law, is in the house here as well now. And sent a star. Thank you so much, buddy. Appreciate that. Sophia, we're only just finishing the first story here. So you're not late. I'm moving a little bit slower. Dusty Bandit Thunder, Ariel, that's right. Bandit Gila. There were a couple of activities that I need to catch up on here real quick. While Tony is telling me to move my ass. Kathy subscribed, became a member of the Storm. Thank you so much for that. Appreciate that. We've got Gemma is a member of the Jim is a member of the Storm now as well. Pamela is a member of the Storm that I think we did already talk about. Just want to make sure I didn't miss those other ones since we were in the middle of giving feedback there. Before bouncing to the next story here, reminder, we do have sticker packs available at dusty-thunder.com. We have 3 different sticker packs available right now, and they're all cool. And we've made them as affordable as possible. So be sure to go check that out. Also at DustyThunderSwag.com, which is the spring shop that we have available. They actually messaged me today, and they have a code to pass along to you so that you can save 25% through April 17th. That code is Friends and Fans 25. And the and is the ampersand. So Friends, ampersand, Fans 25. Friends and Fans 25. 25% off through April 17th. And there are a couple of new basic designs there too. Okay. All right, we will bounce on to the next story here. This one is from the Bridezilla's subreddit. It seems like wedding, we talked about this on the podcast, Tony. Wedding drama is spicy right now. Must be wedding season. Don, you did start the subscription change. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. We love our VIP Storm members. We love them. Okay. This Bridezilla story is, am I the astronaut for thinking of backing out of being the Maid of Honor? The fact that this is nested under Bridezilla's makes me think we know why. I was asked to be the Maid of Honor for my friend of 10 plus years, which has been nothing but a pretty turbulent friendship. But I said yes anyway. Should we go ahead and start this right now? The first issue for me was that we were texted dates for a bachelorette party in the Bahamas, which when we got the pricing would be $3,500 for 2 nights, so I fought back. I was given a hard time by the bride and some of the other bridesmaids. Then I was insensitive when I questioned why our dresses needed to be designer and $450 each pre-alteration. We ended up compromising on Nashville for the party. I was told I was being difficult when I didn't buy the $600 flight 6 months prior because I wanted to price watch. Finally, we go to Nashville this past weekend, and I was bullied by the bride. Bullied by the bride and her other friends for wanting to eat. They skipped dinner and took photos of me when I ordered a cheeseburger at the bar. They shot down all of my ideas for reservation spots. They made fun of me for taking a nap before dinner one day. More photos. And lo and behold, the bride ended up in the hospital with a stomach flu, aka maybe don't drink on an empty stomach. We ended up not going anywhere any of the nights, canceling almost all food reservations, and spent the majority of the time in the Airbnb. After spending $2,000 each, I was told I was being rude and selfish when I said we shouldn't have gone. The bride ignored me the last night, and I'm fed up. Even after I spent all that money, everyone in my family and my real friends said I should be done with this friendship, but a part of me still feels bad. Her wedding is less than 2 months away, but I really am leaning towards being done with this after the bullying, insane demands, insensitivity, and lack of feeling like the bride even likes me as a friend, nonetheless, to be a maid of honor. Am I the asshole, or is she in the wrong, like my gut says? Oh my God. I did just get a connection warning from TikTok live stream. So if you're having some glitchy issues, sorry. I've got everything clamped down that I can clamp down here. Angel says Nashville's no joke. No joke. You got to keep up your strength. The bride is treating the bridesmaid that way, Heather. Yes, you are correct. That is rough. Be done. Mean girl behavior, Candy Thunder says. Oops. I saw Candy Thunder and the Storm badge right next to it. Mean girl behavior, absolutely. Why they're singling her out, I don't understand. But also, why would she choose her as the maid of honor? And Schmutz says she was asked because she's the only sucker that would say yes. That's entirely possible. That is entirely possible. But they've been friends for 10 years, but have had a turbulent relationship. I mean, normally, maybe it was the bride's longest friend, like oldest friend. Maybe that was the case. Maybe she doesn't have good friends because of shit like this. But I think in general, if you feel like you're being mistreated, you're probably being mistreated. And like we've talked about before, you can't be an asshole for feeling something. You can be an asshole for how you act on that. And in this case, I think you've gone along with anything, and being the devil's advocate to say, what if, or what if we do this, or what if we don't do that, I don't feel like is a bad thing. Especially as the maid of honor, I feel like, you have the role of protecting the bride. And a lot of this is what you tried to do. So I don't understand why she got the nod as maid of honor, or why she accepted. Probably just because she would feel bad if she said no. But no, if you're being ganged up on and treated like garbage, then why would you want to continue that? Why would you want to continue doing something that makes you feel like shit? I think that's the general position here. No, freaking back out of it. It doesn't sound like there's going to be any love lost between the relationship here, because she's just uses you as a punching bag. Also, if this is what the past 10 years have been like, I don't know how you guys are still friends, period. Cool Kelly says, I really hate when the bride acts like the bridal party needs to spend thousands on wedding stuff. Agreed. Michelle, how about just not treating your friend like shit? That would be good. That would be good. S. Nelson Mama, thank you so much for sharing the live. Appreciate that. Sophia, member of the Storm, says the bride asked out of obligation, resents her maybe, and OP accepted out of obligation. Well, that's the kind of friendship structure that everyone wants. Obligation and obligation equals resentment. That's entirely possible. Yeah. Annie says your self-worth is more important, and I would completely agree with that. I don't know how many other events lead up to this wedding, but I think you know that the wedding's going to be an absolute shit show, and I don't think you want to be a part of that. I also don't know how much time you have before the wedding happens, but if she's really not utilizing you to do all the things that a maid of honor typically does, which is, has a lot to do with the planning part of everything, being in charge of the bachelorette party, which it sounds like she barely had a vote here, then she's not going to be missing out on much by stepping back from that role. Hey, Shelby in Blue Springs, good to see you here. She probably thought to make her the maid of honor because of finances. Sounds like she's good with money. I could see how that's a possibility, but then not giving her a vote on anything sucks. Like, why would you do that? Stephanie, thanks for the babbity rabbity. Dawn, thank you for the cat paws. BQFM with roses, thank you so much. And a whole gaggle of people sharing the live, thank you so much, appreciate that. Chunky of the lightning bolt, BQFM with the lightning bolt, thank you guys. Stick it out and part after the wedding, Victoria says. I don't know, because at this rate, I mean, you have to look at the possibilities, and if they treated her this badly, and not just the bride, yes, the bride is probably the chief instigator here, but the entire bridal party on her side treated OP like shit here. And why would you choose to do that again? I mean, she's got the grounds now to say, look, I'm not going to continue being the punching bag for everybody, so no thanks. But at this point, if you back out of being the maid of honor, you also back out of being a bridesmaid, period. It's not like they're going to go to the dugout and bring a different bridesmaid in, and then you just become a bridesmaid. I don't think it'll work that way. Get out of there. That's my vote here, is get out of there. She closes this by saying, am I the asshole or is she in the wrong like my gut says? I think you trust your gut. You know what I mean? Too many people don't trust their gut and they end up putting themselves or staying in shitty situations because of that. What's your self-worth is important. And right now, is it worth taking dings to your self-worth for this person who doesn't value your friendship at all? Nay, nay. Nay, nay, I say. Nay, nay. Badass Amazon says most people know what is and isn't in their friend's budget. Plus, if you're getting bullied, why do it? Agreed. Jill says, I don't know how, but the gut is always right. Sophia says, a bunch of mean girls. Savina says, you are more important than them. There you go. Big Daddy's BBQ, loving the shirt. Thank you so much. It is from 9 Line Apparel. Always lots of good stuff from them. Okay, so we've got another NTA here. OP, you are not the asshole. Sorry you have to deal with this, and it's not worth it. I mean, you can choose to stick it out until after the wedding, realizing that it's probably going to be a shit experience, and you're going to continue to be a punching bag during that wedding and just plan on going no contact after that because it's going to get to that point. But if you pull out now, it's going to go no contact anyway. So either way, you're going to hit the same end result. You're not going to gain anything by sticking it out through the wedding, except for maybe not looking like as bad of a person to everybody that she's going to bitch to. That's the one difference here. Okay, before we dive into the next story, I wanted to let you guys know that Candy Thunder, who I think is still here in chat, is returning to the podcast. Candy Thunder's second podcast appearance, we are filming tentatively April 11th. And if there are any additional questions that you guys have that you would like us to answer in that podcast, comment here. Or you can post in the VIP group if you're a VIP member, or you can send it in on the contact form on dusty-thunder.com. So we have a little bit of time, and we'll be accumulating a lot of the questions that you guys have for us to cover in that story, like we did last time. We won't cover the same stuff, but we'll go into whatever you like. She does a great job. She does a really good job. And Tony did a wonderful job too, which I think is why they want to get the whole Thunder and Spark thing going and just leave me behind. And it's really good. I think it's the balance of the opinions, because, you know, Tony will look at a situation and see something completely different. Candy Thunder does the same thing. And she and I, we complement each other well with our opinions. Most of the time. Hey, Sabina, look at this. Look at this. Sabina's got one of the new emotes, the new custom emotes. She's got the astronaut standing there holding the lightning bolt. Heck yeah. That is one of the new perks. And we did add some new ascon themed emotes for VIPs to use. So you've got the ability to use those at your will. Also, doesn't have anything to do with the emotes, but on the new dusty-thunder.com website, there is an ascon scale page that is 100% dedicated to explaining the ascon scale. And at the very bottom of that page, there's a whole lot of buttons where you can download backgrounds that are ascon scale themed and GIFs. We have animated GIFs for each one of the ascon levels, and also one of the astronaut just flying across too. Heck yeah, look at all the custom emotes going on here. So yeah, so VIP group members of the Storm, whenever you are hearing a story and you want to vote for what ascon level OP is at, or whatever member of the story that we're talking about, you can actually use those emotes now. I'm glad they worked out. Okay, we've got another follower submission for you, and this one is, am I the astronaut for wanting my husband around on Mother's Day? Oh, damn, boy. He's not planning on not being around on Mother's Day. Meg subscribed and became a member of the Storm. We are currently at 114 of 150. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much. John, Mary, Susan, Tori, Julianne Spirits. Thank you guys so much for the gifts there. I appreciate that. Thank you. Kristen says, how do I send you a story? You can send it in on dusty-thunder.com. There's actually a submit a story button in the hero section of that homepage that will take you straight to the form where you submit that story. You can also submit it on the Dusty Thunder subreddit. Thanks for the shirt, love, guys. This one is from 9 Live. It's my tactical peeps. It's Easter themed. It's also purple. Very purple. Okay. Again, the title of this one is Am I the Astronaut for Wanting My Husband Around on Mother's Day? Story. Firstly, my husband is a great guy and is loving and attentive. However, there is one subject we massively disagree on. A few years ago, after his brother divorced and moved a bit closer, we were working on a Mother's Day plan. As his brother is a little less caring, my mother-in-law would usually come to us for all the holidays so she's not alone. I'm happy to include her as it makes my husband happy. His mom is a funny fish and blows hot and cold. Sometimes can be quite rude to me, but my husband always calls her out and she settles for a bit. Anyway, I suggested we do as we usually do and go out for the holiday and go out for the day as a family. But as his brother is coming this time, we could have them for dinner and invite my mom too. He was happy with the idea. His brother, not so much. He said, "Why the F would I want to spend it with her mom? I'm coming to be with mom. I'll book a table for lunch for just us three." Sounds like a winner. He said to spend time with my mom. My mom isn't fussed by Mother's Day. She said, "Now I'm a mom, I get to be spoiled, so I usually see her the day before with flowers. She can't come on days as she's disabled and gets too tired." Mother's Day came and I spent time with just my mom. The kids complained the whole time and I spent the day telling them off. It was rubbish. Husband got home around 6 p.m. and had promised to take me out for dinner so I didn't have to cook. But as he was still full from lunch, just me and the kids ate. This continued for a few years. Oh, what? Years? I came to really hate Mother's Day. It wasn't a fun day. It was like any other. Husband started to split his day to appease me once he saw how much it upset me. But then last year, brother-in-law decided he was bringing his new girlfriend for Mother's Day. Mother-in-law's house is small, so he'd need to stay at ours for the weekend. Oh, no. No. This isn't going a good direction at all. Husband asked hesitantly. My response, "Why the F would I want to spend Mother's Day weekend with my brother-in-law and a stranger?" I didn't let them stay and made other plans. Husband finally fully understood my upset. Come to this year, brother-in-law ducked out of Mother's Day altogether as he wanted to spend it with his girlfriend. Husband mentioned this, and I just said it wasn't a problem. His mom can come out for the day with us. I could have been a cow, but two wrongs don't make a right. She also has now told my husband she feels bad for leaving me alone the last few years. However, he still maintains that I should not expect him to make me a priority on Mother's Day. Apparently, that's my kid's job. So am I the asshole? You are the what? For the first time, we have the ASCon 1 emotes being used to signal where they think this OP belongs. Callie, good to see you here. Beatrice, thank you for the ice cream cones. Appreciate that. Savina sent her red flags. Oh, Steph, thank you so much for the rose. Appreciate that. Gemma was asking if we ship to the UK from the website. So the Dusty Thunder swag might. I don't think we are planning on sending the sticker packs out, but I could be wrong there. So, okay, this brings up probably a touchy subject, but there's this general mentality from some dudes or some people that Mother's Day isn't about their spouse if she's a mother. And that it's on the kids. How old are their kids? Did we go into this? How old are the kids? We don't go into the ages of the kids, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Whenever you create a new family, he made you a mother. The kids probably don't have the capacity to make a big day about her. And putting that responsibility on them when they're still minors living in the home isn't really fair. It's also, in my opinion, really freaking lazy to say, like, you're my wife, you're not my mother. It's demeaning, it's lazy, it's stupid. It's a brozo move. This was a brozo move. I knew someone who told their husband, "You're not my dad," then vice versa, and they divorced. See, that sounds like the shortcut to what could happen here. I think in general, guys who take this approach of "you're not my mom, so why should I do stuff for you on Mother's Day?" It's just a bad move. It's a bad move. You should not do that. Obviously, you shouldn't do that. Why for? Why for would you do that? Radar, thank you for the roses. Appreciate that. Rebecca, thank you for the bunny ears. Appreciate that. And Carrie Ann, likewise. Thank you for the bunny ears. Thank you. Yeah, what happens on Father's Day in that house? That's a good question. Is it the same way? So the original question, what was the original question? Am I the asshole for wanting my husband around on Mother's Day? No. Hell no. Hell no. Okay, other moms here. Have you ever had to deal with the "you're not my mother" approach? It's garbage if you have. I'm sorry, but is there anybody who thinks that's okay? Nancy and Natasha, thank you so much for the roses. Appreciate that. Oh, Sarah says yes. Oh no. Jaylee, good thing. I'm glad you haven't. Shamed Angel says NTA, but the husband is. Finja, thank you so much for the galaxy. Appreciate that. Dana with the helmet, thank you so much. Betsy Lou says, I have had to deal with it. Garbage. I'm so sorry. It's just, I think it's a day to recognize how freaking hard moms work. And yeah, Father's Day is the same thing for the father, but why? I don't know. I don't get it. I mean, in the adult position, you were supposed to celebrate your wife, who is a mother, but also your mother, right? I mean, I think you have a responsibility to celebrate your spouse, who is a mother. It's just, it's lazy. You see a lot of exes doing this. Yeah, that makes sense, Hannah. That makes a lot of sense. My goodness. So I think we've got another NTA here. Do we want to go ahead and classify her husband here? I think we do. Let's go ahead and pull up the scale for the first time today and take a look. As a reminder, this is our new sexy ascon scale. As a reminder, look at this. My shirt like themes right in with that. It's perfect. It's perfect. That's my Penelope Cruz from Vanilla Sky. It's perfect. Okay, so as a reminder, ASCON 4 is the least amount of asshole. ASCON 1 is the worst. It operates like the DEFCON scale. ASCON 4 is you could have done it differently. ASCON 3 is you should have done it differently. ASCON 2 is you definitely shouldn't have done that. And ASCON 1 is you're a shit human. So where's hubby here? We know that OP is not on the scale. Like just wanting your partner to be around on Mother's Day, you can't be an asshole for that. But ignore all the other shit for the one statement. However, he still maintains that I should not expect him to make me a priority on Mother's Day. Apparently, that's my kid's job. On that alone, where are we here? Callie, Candy is here. Candy Thunder is in the chat. Custom Cutie Co. It's about Mother's Day, and OP's husband spent the day with his mom, not his wife, for the past few years, and now I guess is going to spend it. They're all going to be together, but he still says that he's not going to make her a priority on Mother's Day because she's not his mom. Lots of ASCON ones here. Candy Geyser, thank you so much for subscribing and becoming a member of the Storm. Is he a terrible human for this? Or is he just definitely shouldn't have done it? I don't know. I think I do know. I do know. Because I think the general stance of looking at your spouse and saying, you're not my mom, I'm not going to celebrate you, I'm not going to respect you, I'm not going to recognize the hard work that you do on this day that is supposed to be celebrating you, is a big ol' ASCON 1. Did that animate in and I was just looking away? I'll bring it up again, just in case. Just in cases. It's like, I'm just not going to cooperate today. That's where it's at. Come on, buddy. You can do it. There we go. There we go. There's our ASCON 1 peeps. Why? Why would you create drama for yourself by having this kind of position? I just don't understand. Like some people mentioned in here, maybe he is just listening to his brother-in-law too much. who obviously knows jack all about anything, not the guy to listen to, dude. Not the guy to listen to. My goodness. User 476, lots of numbers, says on Father's Day I had to cook. I think a lot of dads on Father's Day have to cook, but I think there's having to cook and I think there's getting to cook. There's like, if you're a dad and you're grilling out on Father's Day, that's a win. You know what I mean? And a lot of people enjoy cooking, and a lot of mothers get stuck cooking on Mother's Day too. Sucks. Okay, before moving on to the next story here, wanted to let you know something new. We have our Amazon storefront now linked on Linktree. You may have seen us mention it in the Beard Tips video that went up today. We just have two basically idea lists of items in there right now. There's beard stuff and there's recording gear. Like this mic is on there. Anna, thank you for becoming a member of the Storm. Welcome. Good to see you here. But a lot of the gear that I use is actually on that list. So if you are looking to start up doing content creation and are looking for a starting point on gear, that list is a really good starting point. You know what, Nayeli, I've actually got the comment about Kane from Supernatural a couple of times. I do remember seeing it before. It's interesting. Thank you guys for sharing the live. Appreciate that. All right, we've got another follower submission to jump into here shortly once I drown myself in Jock coffee. Lori Kelly becoming a member of the Storm for the first time. Welcome. And Sarah Neal becoming a member of the Storm for the first time. Wow, you guys are rocking and rolling here. Y'all are rocking and rolling. 119 to 150 now. Now you want coffee, Marcus? Oh, yeah. I was smart and loaded up on Jot and started drinking about 30 minutes before the stream. I think that actually might have been what had me so jazzed Monday night whenever I was going off about cake on the YouTube live. I think it's because I had drank my entire Jot coffee before even starting the stream. So I was just popping. All righty, we're going to dive into the next one here. It is a follower submission, and I haven't mentioned it today, and we've already read a couple of follower submissions, but OP, if you are in the chat and you want to raise your hand to let everyone know that you are OP, feel free to do that. It is absolutely your choice, but people may have some follow-up questions and that kind of thing for you. So, oh boy, here we go. Caitlin Brienne becoming a member of the Storm. Thank you so much. And Jennifer Lee becoming a member of the Storm. You guys are rocking it out today. Heck yeah. We'll get the invites for the VIP group sent to you after the show today. This one is, am I the astronaut for wanting to cut my mother-in-law out of our lives? Oh, shit. We got some mother-in-law drama here. Okay. Is Moira going to show up? Well, if she quotes mother-in-law, I think Moira may be making an appearance. We'll find out. This all started back in 2017. Me and my boyfriend, now husband, had our first daughter in December of 2016. Mother-in-law was supportive, sometimes overly so, throughout the whole pregnancy. Wanted to be at every ultrasound and doctor appointment, all the way to begging to be in the delivery room, which I allowed no matter how uncomfortable that made me, as I didn't even want my own mother in there, just my husband, because things could be seen I didn't want others seeing. Okay, so she didn't want to allow it, but she allowed it even though it made her uncomfortable. We'll go ahead and fly these now. Kind of feels like she was coerced into this. So it came as a surprise to me that 2 to 3 weeks after our daughter was born that my husband dropped me and our daughter off at his mother's while he went hunting so she could see the baby. She looked at me after he left and said, "I don't want you or that thing in my house," and kicked us out. What? What? I don't want you or that thing in my house. The baby? She said, okay, her grandchild? She called a thing? Lady, what? I ended up having to walk home since I had my husband's phone. Lady with an infant, 2 to 3 weeks old, had to walk home because mother-in-law kicked her out and called the baby a thing. Oh, man. This may be the quickest Ascent to Ascon 1 in the history of journeys. I don't understand. Okay, moving on. After that, my husband blew up at her, and there was a lot of apologizing on her part. I thought that everything would be okay. However, as time went on, I started to see more and more things that ticked me off. She never came to any of our daughter's birthday parties. Mind you, they are on the same day every year, but would show up to every one of the parties her daughter, husband's older sister, had for any of her 3 kids. So when I got pregnant with our twins in 2020, I was at almost no contact with her at this point, aside from an occasional message. When she heard I was pregnant again, it was like a switch was flipped. Suddenly, she's wanting to talk every day and see ultrasounds and know what the names and genders of the involved and be involved in the process. I, of course, immediately shut her down. Who is she to ignore my oldest, but when there's 2 more on the way, suddenly want to be involved again? But my husband reasoned with me that maybe she pulled back because she could tell I didn't like her at all that much and to give her another chance. Hubby, why? Why you do this, man? Come on. So I did, only for that all to come back again at full force. On December 15th, 2020, I gave birth to 2 more beautiful girls at 30 weeks premature. Oh no. Me and my husband both reached out to our mothers trying to find someone to keep our 3 almost 4-year-old daughter, since the twins would be in the NICU almost 2 hours away from where we lived. My mother, being the godsend she is, took off work for a month, using all of her vacation and sick leave to take our daughter in, while his flat out told him she couldn't because his sister was moving in with her and she just didn't have time to deal with a kid. My new sister-in-law has 3 children. But also, time out, why would you want your 3 to 4-year-old going to stay with this person who called her a thing? I just wouldn't allow it. At this point, you would think that's that. But instead of just leaving it at that, mother-in-law had the gall to message family and friends about how they never let me see the babies anymore. I said babies. I screwed it up. They never let me see the babies anymore. Then show up at our house asking to take my 2 2-year-olds camping in another state and not take the oldest, so I blew up at her. I told her, this isn't Build-A-Bear, where you get to pick and choose which children you love and which you ignore, and how I can't believe your son even talks to you anymore with how blatantly you show favoritism to all of your children except him, and called her a bitch who only cares for her son and other grandchildren when it makes her look good. After this, I got a lot of hateful messages and calls saying how I took it too far and should have just said no and left it at that. But for me, this is something that's been building up for the last 7 years, well before my oldest was born. So am I the asshole for essentially boiling over and blowing up at my mother-in-law, then cutting her out of our lives? Should I have handled it differently? Oh my gosh, it just kept going and going and going and going and going and going and going. Good gravy, man. Good freaking gravy. I saw some subscription notifications popping up here while I was reading the story. Goose, Emily, Haley, thank you so much for subscribing and becoming a member of the Storm. Caitlin, Jennifer, if I didn't mention you before, welcome. We're at 124 of 150 now. You guys are awesome. Okay, so thoughts about this story. Mother-in-law's in ASCON 1. We've... I don't understand. Mental health check for that mother-in-law, Maria says. Mary, thank you for the bunny ears. Savina has got the ASCON 1 popping up all over the place here. Man, I don't... did hubby cut ties also? It doesn't sound like it. And this is one of the big problems that I have here. Hey, Sarah S. officially is in the house now. Welcome to the stream. Good to see you here. I have 1,000 problems with lots of reactions from lots of parties in this story. Sarah Ford subscribing, becoming a member of the Storm. Welcome to the crew. Welcome to the Storm. Candy LOL in there as well. Welcome to the Storm. So in the very beginning, whenever she kicked them out, made her walk home and said she didn't want her or that thing in her house, like that is the moment where it's like, okay, WTF. Because she went from being overly supportive to just a complete 180. It's almost like she's had some kind of, like, there was an event horizon here where baby came out not looking the way she expected. And maybe she's thinking there was some kind of infidelity going on here. And like, that's the only thing that makes sense to me, where she would have some kind of feelings about OP and about the baby here, calling her a thing. It doesn't make it okay. No, far from that. It does not make it okay at all. But to have this event horizon pivot where it's just a completely different person, and this is where, yeah, the bipolar comment makes sense, Jaylee. There has to be some kind of either mental instability, mental condition, or there's something that we don't know. But and then for her to repeat the cycle, it's like she gets so excited, but as soon as it becomes work for her at all, and maybe that's what it is, like she wants to be involved, like she wants to watch everything happen so she can say that she did, but as soon as she feels like she's going to be put in a position to watch a child or have to care for someone, then she's like, no, I'm out. But even then, to say what she said, I don't want you or that thing in my house, making her walk home with a 2 to 3 week old child, that's an AScon 1 offense. And then repeating this cycle a couple years later, but wanting to have some kind of continued relationship with the twins. I mean, I'm all for OP blowing up here. I think it should have happened much sooner. And the fact that they even approached her to watch the 3 to 4 year old while the twins were being born prematurely, it's like, why would you put your child in that position? That's the only thing I don't agree with from OP's perspective here. Why would you do that? Why would you be willing to do that? And that was probably husband making that call, because obviously wife was in premature labor and dealing with a lot on her own right then. But man, I cut contact. It only gets worse, Beth says. Dawn says, I'm so grateful I don't have a mother-in-law like this. Same. Very same. Mother-in-law is definitely AScon 1. There's something we don't know going on here, though. There's some kind of mental condition, or there's something else about OP that has, it just doesn't make sense. None of this makes sense. Something is going on there, but I think we can safely say that mother-in-law is an AScon 1, if for no other reason because of what she said, kicking them out of the house and calling the baby that thing. I don't understand it. And I saw a comment up here about that's not how bipolar works, and you know, it's not necessarily that, but either something is off. Like she's got something that she's wrestling with that is causing her to do or act illogically, or there's just some piece of this that we don't understand. Either way, mother-in-law's an asshole, and I would not let her around your children. I wouldn't want her to be around your children after you know what she's capable of now. And if she's capable of being that hateful, what is she going to say or do with your kids there? Or if she's watching your kids, what is she going to say or do in front of them that they aren't going to be able to tell you about? That would be my fear. Borderline personality disorder, Lori says. Allie, this story was called Am I the Astronaut for Wanting to Cut My Mother-in-Law Out of Our Lives? I'll try to back up and find this comment. Okay, so Candy Thunder was responding back to Solo Traveler here, who said, I think mother-in-law is traumatized by seeing the birth of her oldest granddaughter. Maybe? Jennifer DeFries, thank you so much for the love about the TikTok. Taylor, thank you so much for the panda. Appreciate that. And I think I missed something over here as well. We had Lindsay became a member of the Storm, and Farmal Dixie became a member of the Storm as well. Thank you guys so much. Appreciate that. And thank you, Taylor, Molly, and Lindsay for the gifts that you're throwing my way too. It's possible that she got traumatized, but I mean, she's had kids, obviously. I mean, being on the other side of the table, and you're obviously seeing things from a different angle. But someone mentioned jealousy here too. Meg mentioned jealousy. That's possible. Ack Turner becoming a member of the Storm. Thank you so much. Welcome to the group. Sarah with Babbity Rabbity, thank you so much for that. And Kaylee for the rose. Sarah Neal with the rose, thank you so much. You gotta, OP, if you're in the house here, I haven't caught that on on the chat yet, but OP, if you are in here, because this is a follower submission, and I would highly suggest going no contact with this woman because you know what she's capable of now. And there needs to be a discussion with hubby here. There are lots of questions about how is hubby going to go no contact as well? What are his thoughts about this? There needs to be, you guys got to get on the same page. And it's his mom, so you can expect some opposition or some resistance to this. But if the story was just the part where she said, I don't want you or that thing in my house, that would be enough. That would be enough to not want her around your kids. And if you can't trust that she's going to be caring and loving consistently, then you can't trust her. Oi. I've done too much scrolling around here too, so I've lost my place. I've lost my story. If anything, OP, you say, should I have handled it differently? You're not the asshole for boiling over and blowing up. The only thing that I would suggest for handling it differently is being firm sooner. And I think with boundaries, the more immediate your response is, the more immediate that boundary is established, hopefully the earlier an understanding is established. And then at least you've set a precedent that if something like that happens again, you can be like, no, remember, I created this boundary. I'm enforcing it now, because you have to create it before you can enforce it. So I think if you had spoken up sooner, that maybe, I don't think you would have prevented anything from happening here, because she is who she is. But I think for yourself, creating that boundary sooner gives you more power and credibility later on here. But it's, maybe you don't say anything in the beginning because you're like, I don't know what's going on with her. I'm trying to give her the benefit of the doubt. Maybe she just had a bad day. Maybe her meds are off. I don't know. But no, you didn't do anything wrong here. Good gravy, man. Beth, thank you for the Easter eggs. Paulette, thank you for the rose. Appreciate that. Man, that's rough. And I could tell you right now that Candy Thunder and I would be on the complete same page that if either one of our parents were behaving like this at all, that they wouldn't get to be around our children. You don't have to allow that. They don't have a legal right to your children. Getting to be around them is supposed to be a perk. It's a benefit. So, and if she abuses that or can't see the value in it, then don't go to the trouble. But you do have to get your husband on the same page. All right, before we move into the next story here, we talked about the new dusty-thunder.com website a few minutes ago, and also how on the ascon scale page, you can actually download GIFs and backgrounds. There are buttons for those at the very bottom of the site. There's also a bunch of other pages on there that you can check out. There's one that goes over all the different kind of content that we do and has links to everything. There's a Meet the Thunders page on there. There's all kinds of new stuff that we rolled out with the new brand April 1st. So be sure to go check it out if you have not done so already. And download those GIFs, download the ascon background stuff. I've got it on my phone, on my computer and everything now, and I'm really digging it. Really excited to get some stickers in, because I'll be putting stickers on everything. And we're going to be giving the kids stickers too. Navy Thunder's going to have stickers all over everything that she shouldn't. I can almost guarantee it. Almost guarantee it. Ronnie says, I used to have a lot of issues with my mother-in-law. I had to put my foot down early on. Good. Lindsay says, shit, my mom's not even allowed to talk bad about my dogs. Good. I think that's the thing with boundaries, and most of us fail at establishing them quickly. We wait till things have gotten bad for an extended amount of time to be like, hey, nah. And that's on us for waiting. We allow more shit to happen. You allow it to happen longer, the longer you wait. But I think we just have we try to give people the benefit of the doubt and expect them to not do it again. Hey, we're the UK. We all have crazy families. Sarah Neal says. Yeah, it really makes you thankful for what you got, huh? Good gravy. So the Dusty Thunder site, you can go to at dusty-thunder.com. You can also check out Linktree, which is now Dusty Thunder themed and has all kinds of new stuff on it too. Easy links for everything you could possibly need is on there. If you end up having trouble or find a broken link or something, shoot us a message and let us know. We've had a couple of people do that, and a lot of times we don't know until you tell us. So if you see something wrong, please let us know so we can fix it for you. We want it to be a good, positive experience. We have another story to read, and this one is from the AITA subreddit. Christy says, my dad didn't think I was his. I never saw him, though my siblings did. The hell? Selena, have I read the one about the groom calling off the wedding? I have not. I have not. Oy vey. Yeah, I don't know. We get into parenting discussions a lot. I think it just sucks. It sucks, for those of you who are adults now who went through shit as kids. You get it. You get how much influence, parents can have over tiny humans. And I think once you become a parent, if you haven't been through some crap like that before, it's hard to realize what's possible through that. I mean, we're fortunate to not have gone through that, but it's tough to realize that the wrong thing can go a long way. So can the right thing. But man, it's like, even when you don't realize it, you're shaping those kids, which is terrifying. It's a big responsibility. Okay, this one is, am I the astronaut for becoming that parent by causing a stink at my daughter's school? My daughter Cleo, 11, is very active outside of school. She plays soccer, takes swim lessons, and will play outside a lot with the neighborhood kids. She's very social. Most of her friends are from outside her school. At school, however, she struggles making friends. Cleo has ADHD and was bullied in 3rd and 4th grade for some of that. While it was brought under control by 5th current grade, these kids still don't play with her and pretty much ice her out. While I don't think they have to play with her, it also means that she doesn't socialize a lot at school. She's okay with this. Her teacher says our daughter often plays alone at recess or reads. My wife and I were not very concerned and explained she's very social and active afterwards. Cleo is a huge reader. She's currently reading her way through my wife's collection of books from her childhood. She loves them and treasures them, knowing they were her mama's and wants to take great care of them. She came home on Tuesday very upset and worried her mom would be upset with her. I asked her why, and she said her teacher took her book away and won't give it back until tomorrow. When pressed for more information, she said she was reading at recess. Her teacher walked over, took the book, and told her to go play. My daughter begged for her book back, and the teacher refused. I quickly assured Cleo that she wasn't in trouble and even called my wife at work to have her back me up. It was quite concerning that she was so afraid, as my wife isn't one to fly off the handle. She's always gentle with Cleo. As suspected, my wife assured her she wasn't upset and that Cleo did zero wrong. The next day, I brought Cleo to school early and walked her to class. No one but the teacher was there. I told the teacher to give me the book. She obliged and tried to defend herself. I told her to save it, and she had no right. There's no rule that Cleo has to do physical activity at recess, and we expressed no concern. The teacher said she was allowed to set boundaries for her class, but I pointed out recess was free time. It's not like Cleo was reading during math. We went back and forth, and finally I said I'd be reaching out to the principal. The issue was resolved quickly. I don't know the particulars, except the principal told me that Cleo is allowed to read at recess, and unless she is actively harming someone or reading during a non-designated time, she wouldn't have any more books confiscated. My wife and I were pleased. Cleo even more so. My cousin is a teacher at this school, just a different grade. She said what I did is hot gossip in the teacher's lounge, and that I have been marked as one of those parents. She says the teacher isn't paid enough and I should have just accepted the rule. When I pointed out that we have 2 more months left at this school, Cleo is our only and starts junior high in August, that's not a concern. My wife and I feel justified, but we were wondering if I'm the asshole. I have to kind of process like what I would do in this position. What would I do? I think this is one of those occasions, and it's, we just came out of a conversation where we were talking about parents having the ability or the responsibility of shaping children at a young age. And Cleo is 11 here, right? So still very impressionable. And for a teacher or anyone to attempt to shape her in this direction is an abuse of that power, in my opinion. It's 2023. We should understand that not all kids are the same. We should understand that some kids, prefer to sit outside and read. And that if you're getting a free time, like, hell, I would love to sit outside and read. It doesn't have to be the box that everybody gets put into. And there are enough individual niche things that kids can get into and explore in life now for careers, for hobbies, that you have to let them explore. And this is just odd because, it seems like whenever I was in elementary school, if there was a kid sitting there reading during recess, my teacher would be like, that's how I know that's a smart kid, right? It's a teacher or a kid using their free time to read. Like that's a good thing. I don't know why it was looked down on or why she tried to shape her away from there. But she did have an impact. And this whole conversation about teachers not being paid enough to deal with it and you should just accept the rules. Okay. I understand. Teachers make garbage pay and that should change. However, if you're actively shaping and affecting impressionable children, you have a responsibility to not do harmful things to them. You have a responsibility to not try to change things about who they are just because it's things that you don't agree with. You have a responsibility to help them explore paths and not shut paths down. Does that make sense? That's where I'm bothered here. I know that teachers deal with way more crap than they should. This doesn't feel like one of these things. This feels like someone who made the wrong move and was using the excuse of I don't get paid enough for this to say I don't have to deal with it when gossiping to other teachers about it. I think there are plenty of other occasions where this is 100% true, and I get it. I 100% get it. But this is a girl who just wanted to freaking read outside. Like, let her read. Let her read. PE is where you get the physical activity needed. Andrea says, yeah, that's absolutely correct. Sarah and Waffle says, I work with kids. This is not one of these parents. And I think that's what I'm saying here too. And I think this is one of those parents is an excuse that was utilized here. And I'm sure that doesn't happen often because a lot of times, parents, I'm sure, do have BS reasons for getting involved and overreach. This doesn't feel like one of those times to me. This feels like she was doing nothing wrong at all. And there was an abuse of power. Rebecca says, I will 100% be that parent. Lindsay says, nothing to deal with. Some of these teachers do get what I like to call a God complex. Ronnie says, if it was because she's ADHD and she wanted to get out her energy, she should have talked to her. And I forgot about that part of the story here. Books Coffee Tea says, talk and encourage to play. Fine, just don't come and take the book. And that was wrong. Keeping it was unacceptable. Agreed. It was this was approached in a very dictator fashion where it's just, give me the book, go play. Not hey, do you not want to go play? Are you having trouble connecting with the other kids? Like, why have you made this decision to try to better understand it? It was just, give me the book, go. That's a lazy approach. That's an absolutely lazy approach. But backing up to the beginning of the story, she doesn't connect well with kids in school. She's very social outside of school. And I think that's another thing to look at here. You don't have to connect with people at school. It's okay. It's okay. I've got a buddy who has a son who has trouble connecting with kids at school. And I think part of the reason is probably the size of the school. With larger schools, yes, kids may be more likely to get lost in the mix. There's problems with that. But the benefit to that is that you have a lot more niche groups where there's a lot more different kids and they have a better chance of connecting with a group because things start to niche out like that, where kids find out they have similar niche interests and they start grouping up. In a smaller school, it's tougher to do that. So I think in general, forcing the whole camaraderie in school and parents who put too much stress on that, pass that stress along to their children. These parents seem great. They're respecting who she is as a person. They're not trying to pressure her to do anything that feels out of character for her. They're just helping her explore. The teacher, not so much. And this is one of the problems where I think probably everyone who becomes a teacher in the very beginning is very excited about having the ability to shape young lives. At some point, the bullshit has to have an effect. And I'm sure at some point in time, you've dealt with so much bullshit that you just stop caring as much. And maybe that's where this teacher is. It would be tough. I don't have the patience for it. I know that. And, mad respect to teachers who take their job seriously and are an asset and are positively shaping minds. The ones who don't and who abuse that power have way more effect than they realize. Sarah Waffle says, reading can be like stimming. She's regulating her emotions. It's an ADHD thing. I could see that. I could definitely see that. Zul, hello there. Good to see you. Savina says, the teacher's attitude is a good look at why she's not connecting with other students. Fair point there. Fair point, Savina. Fair point. Miranda says, when you constantly take away a kid's quiet time, you create anxious adults who can't relax without guilt. That's the kind of crap I'm talking about. And look what happened. I mean, she went home all worried that her mom was going to be upset because this book that she treasured because it was her mom's got taken away. Candy Geyser says, my son grew up with a group of girls and they were all close. He would usually play with them. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Sarah Neal, in the UK, we don't push sports. Formal Dixie says, not a 1, but she definitely tried to use her authority the wrong way. She's got her as like an ascon 2 or ascon 3. Yeah, we haven't classified the teacher in here yet, but we will do that. And then Candy Geyser says the teacher told him he had to stop playing with the girls and go play with the boys. Oh, really? What? Dang. Ronnie says, my daughter has a hard time connecting with others. The last thing you want to do is make her feel weird. Yeah, you're just going to make it more difficult then. Silo them out. You like the Chiefs cup, eh? It's my current water cup. So we've got Jot Coffee here, which, by the way, you can save at jot.co with code Dusty20. Save 20%. And we've got water here. Takes both. Chuck, you wanted to be a high school band director because you can make or break a musician. Yeah. I could see that. I had a couple of band directors whenever I was in high school, band and jazz, and yeah, I mean those kids. You're not just in charge of the curriculum that helps shape their minds, but whether you realize it or not, you're a role model for them, and that can be a good or bad thing. Okay, so OP parents here, definitely not the assholes at all. And you know what? I'm kind of the point in life where maybe I'm just an old curmudgeon, but call me that parent. I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit if the teachers are going to talk about me in the freaking teacher's lounge. Like, I'm going to do the right thing for my kid. And if you have a problem with it, suck it. I don't know. That's where I'm at. Like, I don't give a shit. Because if someone has a problem with me doing the right thing, then they're not in it for the right reasons. And I don't give a shit what they think. Was my jazz band called the Thundercats, Schmutz? No. Unfortunately, no. I was never that cool. Never that cool. So there was a comment on YouTube. Oh, sorry. I didn't classify the teacher here. Do we need to classify the teacher? I think she's pretty safely in ascon 2. But let's look at the scale and try to figure it out here. So 4 is you could have done it differently. We're definitely past that. 3 is you should have done that differently. 2 is you definitely shouldn't have done that. I think we prevent getting to a 1. It could be getting close to a 1. I think we're definitely at a 2 here. I think we avoid the 1 because the attrition of bullshit that teachers have to deal with, has to have an effect over time. But you have to understand when you're shaping a young life in the wrong direction. So We'll go ahead and make that official. Stacy, loving the new Space Ascon scale. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. You can download the full graphic that has the full scale at the new dusty-thunder.com website, and there are some GIFs and stuff there too. We really dig the new theme as well. So somebody had mentioned on YouTube that I should cover FML stories, and I had not heard of that before. Do you guys follow FML stories? Brittany says, Dusty, we're at 1 because she went and told the teachers to beware of him. Yeah, you may be right. She may be a 1 there. And because her reaction to it was taking the lazy, I don't get paid enough to deal with this shit approach. She may be a 1. Safely a 2. Seems to be a lag with audio. Chuck, I've gotten several notices on TikTok Live Studio today that it's an unstable connection, so I'm sure there's lots of people having issues on the end points here. Hannah, obsessed with the shirt. This one came from 9line. I had to wear it for right before Easter, you know. It's my peeps. It is my peeps. Moving my way down here, trying to catch up, sorry. Mama Mason, first live, loving it. Awesome. Dawn, you said that we're at 131. Holy crap. Let me jump over to the activity here. Belle just subscribed and became 131. Heck yeah. And Allie subscribed before that. You guys rock. Thank you so much. And thank you for the gifts. Michael, Randall, Lindsay, Stephanie, Nat, Stephanie again, Anna, Bets Lou, Paulette. You guys are too cool. You're too nice to me. I appreciate it. I appreciate it very much. Okay. Did you just add something else to the dock? I saw it shift down. What, was it something up toward the top? Ah, look, you're messing with me. It's shifting my screen while I'm reading here, man. I'm just kidding. It's fine. It's fine. Tony Spark is adding the original post links to the document so that when I upload this whole show to YouTube later, we have the links to take you to the original post later on. Thank you, Tony Spark. Appreciate it, man. Anxious Fairy, your first live too. Absolutely love the videos. Thank you. Appreciate that. Subscribe to what? Isaac says those subs are members of the Storm, which is the YouTube Live paid subscribers. So you can become a paid supporter and get a lot of perks with it as well. If you hit the star in the top center or bottom left of your screen, maybe both places, you'll get some information about what perks are included there. The coolest of which is probably becoming a member of the VIP group that we have on Facebook. And we send invitations out after the show for you to join that group. And it's a great group. It's a good group of people. We got a lot of them here today. Got a lot of them. Allie says, will I ever do sub-only lives? I don't have a plan to do that right now. I can tell you this. We will not take away from what we're doing right now. If we end up doing any sub-only live, anything, it will be something additional that we would do. So if you're not a sub, you aren't going to lose anything. If you are a sub, you would only gain. June, I do lives during your long drive from work. Cool. That works out well. Sophia, member of the group, loves it. Zool, thank you for the tiny diny. Appreciate that. Anti-Fafo, hey, Thunderman. Aloha. Hey, aloha back at you. Jill, we are good people. If you have your own story and it's not AITA, Gina just became a member of the Storm as well. Welcome to the group, Gina. Sarah S. officially, you may have to elaborate. It doesn't have to be AITA. We're open to reading any kind of story. So if you have a story to submit and it's not specifically an AITA, go ahead and send it in. We look at everything. And defo do FML. Some people said, I forgot about the FML conversation. We definitely have to check that out. I assume it's another subreddit, but we're gonna have to look into that. Mother-in-law stories. Oh, okay. Gotcha. Pauline watching from Scotland. Awesome. Tiffany loving the content. Awesome. Sarah, you want to submit it? Do it. Go for it. And you can either do that. Well, it's probably best to do that through if you do it through the website, it notifies the right people internally here who will review it and get it queued in. Selena, still haven't read one about a husband calling off the wedding. I'm not sure if it's in this or not. I never read the stories ahead of time because I always want my reaction to be real. I want it to be fresh. So I try my best not to even read the words, even though they're on a document that I go through and make some notes on ahead of time. I just ignore the words. There's a few of you in Scotland also. Also, the Reddit facepalm ones are good. Also, facepalm. I will check up on that. Cool. Liz just became a member of the storm. I see you, Tony Spark. You calm down there, trying to get me to move my ass. I see you. I see you. There was another comment on here that I meant to go address, but I lost it. And then Tony's cracking the whip on me. Tony Spark. Tony Spark, everybody. Whose podcast came out on Sunday on YouTube and all the podcast channels. You got to go check it out. He did great. All right, this is another follower submission. This one is, by the way, follower submission OP. If you were in chat and want to raise your hand and let us know that it's you, people may have some questions or comments or maybe call you an asshole. We'll see. Am I the astronaut for not giving my late husband's cousin a loan? I'm a widow, female 41 with 2 teenage children. We lost their father, my husband, right before the COVID lockdown and have been healing since. I have re-entered dating and have a partner, male 43. Since I have started dating, many in my late husband's family of origin have resigned to make me the bad guy. No biggie. We know that he will never get the justice and closure we wanted, and we are working through it. That being said, my late husband, male 40, had let his life insurance lapse, so we had to struggle for a while, but I was able to keep us in the home we shared with my husband before we lost him and keep us afloat for a while until things evolved to the new normal. Now there seems to be a new problem. Apparently, some in my late husband's family are angry, thinking both me and my partner have profited from my late husband's loss. Don't get me wrong, I love my husband dearly, and even though I do also love my partner, it's not the same. It's a whole different relationship between he and I than my late husband and I had, and I would give anything except for my children to have him back again. We would have been married 18 years this fall. Now to the issue, some in my late husband's family are angry with me for not giving them anything. What? Giving them anything? While I do admit that there was a small settlement car crash, those funds went into a trust for my children when they are adults. Okay, now I get it. It will not make them wealthy by any means, but it gives them a better launching point than their father and I had. A few days ago, I received a text from one of my husband's cousins. They were not close but cordial, asking me for a loan to try and expand her business. I will not say how much the loan was for anonymity's sake. Let's say it was less than $5,000, but still much more than I have in capital. At first, I thought maybe she had been hacked and I did not engage, thinking it was a spammer asking other relatives for money. Apparently, it was not a scammer. When this was made apparent, I asked for a few days to consider if I could afford it. I did not know why they all think I have this kind of money lying around, and I refuse to tell them anything else so they will not aggravate my kids for it either. Obviously, the answer is no, but how do I say no gracefully in a way to hopefully not damage my kids' relationship with any more of the paternal side of the family? As a note, the money went into a trust for my kids that they can access when they are 30. Am I the asshole for not giving her a loan? Damn. Dory subscribed for the first time. Thank you so much and welcome to the storm. You gotta love it. You gotta love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. One of the first perks that you'll see today is the custom emotes that you've seen a lot of people posting with the ascon planets, and also the asconauts are on there as well. Oh, what do we think about this? So the pickle that you're in here, OP, is that explaining what you did with the small settlement that you received would probably make them go away, because then they would understand that it's in a trust for the kids and you can't even get to it. I understand why you're not wanting to do that, because you don't want to let them know that someday your kids will have access to this money, and on that day they're going to be all over them asking for money. So I understand wanting to keep it close, but you have to accept that until you at least let them know that you don't have access to it, they're going to be barking up this tree for a long time. And why they think they have any kind of claim to it is weird. I mean, they must think that you got rich here. They must think that you had some kind of multi-million dollar settlement, and they're, now it's like we were super close. Enjoy life. Thank you so much for becoming a member of the Storm. We're at 134. Holy cow. Holy cow. And apparently they don't understand that, or maybe they do. In your position, I would either, if you want to have a relationship with the paternal side, if you want your kids to be able to have a relationship with the paternal side, you have to say something here. I don't think you can just go no contact. What you say is the complicated part here, but you have to establish that you do not have access to the money, and also it's a hell of a lot less than they're thinking it is. So number one, communicating that his life insurance had lapsed, so you actually went in the hole on paying for things, and the settlement was much smaller than what they're thinking it was, and I think you have to say it was put into a trust, because that should let them know that it can't be touched. Or just say it was put away for the kids and leave it at that. It was put away for the kids and they can't get to it for a long, long time. I don't know. I feel like if you want to have a continued relationship with them, you're going to have to get them off your back. You're going to have to get them off your back by at least giving them some details, because right now, the narrative that you haven't taken control of is that you're freaking rich and you're just not giving them anything. Kelly became a member of the Storm as well. Thank you so much, Kelly Rubenacker. Welcome. Welcome to the Storm. Enjoy life, loves watching the AIT and mother-in-law stories. Heck yeah, there are plenty of mother-in-law drama stories to go around. Plenty. Christine says, just let them know there was no life insurance, to stop asking for money because there is none. I have a feeling they know that there was a settlement, though. That's why. And it's public record. You can case net it or whatever, but they're going to know that there was some kind of settlement. They don't know where it went. And right now they're just making the assumption that OP and her new dude just profited from it and are just using it. So I think you have to say that it was put up for the kids. Jenny subscribed for the first time, became a member of the Storm. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Desiree, thank you for the love. Appreciate that. Jill, member of the Storm, says family plus money equals trouble. Agreed. Tiffany became a member of the Storm for the first time here as well. You guys are on it today. You guys are on one. Lending money to a family member is a bad idea, and you don't want to put strain on a relationship. Yeah, if you want to have a good relationship, keep money out of it. That's probably the best thing to say there. But if they think that you're withholding money from them, then money's already entered that relationship. And now it's just the lack of it. Nursey Deer says family get cray when there is a death. Saw this so often in hospice and with my husband's death. Damn, why? The potential of money makes people do stupid things. Dawn says feels like the relationship is already strained. I would agree with that. I wouldn't want them harassing my kids down the road either, books, coffee, tea, but I feel like to get them off your back, you got to give them something. So either just say that it's in a trust or that it's been put away, or just go no contact. I think just develop a statement right now, or make your outgoing voicemail message be something like, "Hey y'all, this is Judy. If this is one of Doug's crazy family members calling to ask for money, the answer is no. Okay, bye-bye now." Just the blanket statement that is just cut it off ahead of time. But I understand the position that you're in. I understand why you're doing what you're doing. No, you're not the asshole for not giving her a loan. I mean, she's probably just as able to give you a loan. You know what I mean? It's just this picture that they have of you that you have all this money laying around, but you've done the right thing with it, and that's putting it away for the kids. And it's either you tell them that and you put your kids at risk, but if it is, they can't get to it till they're 30. I don't know how old they are now. Do we know? No. You've been married 18 years, so let's say they're approaching 18, at least your oldest. It's going to be 12 years. If you say, no, now the money has been put away for my kids and they can't access it for a long time, they would have to remember for 12 years. And the chances of that happening, I think, are pretty slim. So in your position, I would say, look, he didn't even have life insurance. We went in the hole. We're just now back to surviving. There is no money to be had here because what came from that settlement, which was tiny, was put away for the kids that they can't get to for a long, long time. That's it. It is a choice. Yeah, real life works. No one has to loan anyone money. It's a choice. And you're not an asshole for not giving her a loan. She thinks you're an asshole because she thinks you have a pile of money laying around. And if you don't want that family to think that you're an asshole so you have some kind of relationship with them, then I think you have to clarify. I think you do. Ace, thank you so much for the telescope. Anna, thank you for the sunglasses. Appreciate that. And Nursey Deer says chances are they would never pay it back. Anyway, that's a good point. If they only showed up whenever they thought there was money around. Don't tell them what age the kids can get into it, Bets Lou says. I would agree with that. Just long time. Long time. Ace, thank you so much for the balloons. Appreciate that. So long, farewell. Yep. That sucks. No, not the asshole at all, OP. I think if you want to prevent this kind of crap from happening, you got to say something, though. Okay. Did you add another story? Oh, Tony Spark added another story for us. So we have, what, 2 more to go here? 3? 1, 2, 3. I have 3 more stories to go. Because I read too fast? Well, but you're over there going like this. And you can't go like this and then say you read too fast. Here's another story. Life's about balance. But here's the cool part. He's ready for anything. So you told me to speed up and then I went too fast. That's what happened. I can't, I'm not reading the signals right. So many lightning bolts in love for Tony Spark, who has taken it upon himself to stay late and basically be my engineer while we're doing these lives so that we can pivot and do stuff like this. So he can address questions with Candy Thunder in chat as they come up that I can't get to, and also throw extra stories or extra details in as I'm reading this through. So thank you. Tony Spark and Candy Thunder, lightning bolts and love for them both. He's probably got another lined up for me after that one. I don't know. We're targeting 6 p.m. here, so we may get there. Man, Ronnie using those new emotes. I love them. They look great. They look great, and they don't have the crazy black box behind them like the old ones did. So these ones worked out really well. Brianna says, tell them safe to the house and survived COVID. Money is gone. That may be enough. That may be enough right there. Don, thank you so much for the lightning bolts. Appreciate that. Commando for the lightning bolts as well. Thank you. I live for other people's problems, Dory says. Go Tony and Candy. Heck yeah. Allie, you missed the red flag emote. Maybe we'll have to make another one. I don't know if I've taken up all the custom emote slots, but I'll take a look. And if I haven't, I'll add that one back in. I'll bring it back for you. Zool, thank you so much for the lightning bolts. Appreciate that. Naeem, thank you so much for the rabbity. Rabbity. I'm not sure. All right, let me get a swig of water and we'll dive right in. Coffee, Walter. Jules, will you ever do a good field story about nice, heartwarming stories? I'd like to. Yeah, that's probably a good idea. And we'll provide some balance that way too. We may end up doing something like that and having it be a separate playlist on YouTube. Speaking of YouTube and playlist, we have playlists for damn near every different kind of drama and story there is. And I try to make sure that as I'm uploading batches, I am putting them into the proper buckets there. So if you just want to hear stories about mother-in-law drama, we got a playlist for that. We have a YouTube exclusives playlist. We're trying to figure out how to approach that with the new content because our logistics are a little weird right now, but we do have one. We have a YouTube exclusives playlist there too. And if you're not subscribed on YouTube yet, you definitely need to be because there's a lot more content there than there is here on TikTok. There's daily posts, there's weekly compilations, and then we do monthly-ish podcasts there too. So, yeah. Stephanie, did anyone else spend too much on Easter presents for their kids? Well, yeah, always. JJT, just watched a shirt or a video where I was wearing a Bluey shirt. Love Bluey. Watch it every day. Even after Navy goes down for nap or goes to bed, I'm probably still watching it. And this one is from 9line. It's my Easter Peep shirt. Okay, the next story here is from the AITA subreddit, and it is, am I the asshole for deleting a video of myself from my friend's phone that he took while I was drunk? Did you write this, Tony? No. So you haven't deleted that video yet. My friend filmed me while I was drunk, basically confessing to loving him since we were kids. Oh, no. It isn't something I've ever said to him sober, and I absolutely cannot let anybody else see that video because he's seeing my best friend, and it would hurt her if she saw it. I asked him to delete it multiple times, but he would always turn it into a joke and refuse. He promised he wouldn't show it to anybody else, but he's watched it in front of me in places where anybody could have overheard, so I didn't trust him, and I secretly deleted it from his phone. He's mad at me for taking his phone, deleting the video, and because he thinks I looked at other things on it. The only thing I did was delete the video, but he doesn't believe me. My best friend knows he's mad at me, but doesn't know why. But he threatened to tell her and is claiming he had the video backed up, which I think is pretty shitty of him. I don't plan to apologize to him because I feel like he forced my hand, as he should have deleted it when I asked him to. But am I the asshole? Oh, it's a short and sweet and spicy story. Holy crap. Yeah, I was thinking, as soon as she said she deleted it, I'm like, man, like most phones now automatically back everything up to the cloud, like instantly. So if you delete it, there's a really good chance that he can restore it. A really good chance. And that just happens. Like most of the photo and camera apps that are available do that automatically. So we use Google Photos for everything. And it will sync and share over to, like, if I save something in there, it'll share it over to Candy Thunder's shared folder immediately too. So NTA, other things. Yeah, looking at other things. That's really funny for him to get pissed off about. He's like, I took this video of you that you didn't want me to take, and I took without your permission, and I'm refusing to delete it, which is pretty much a violation. But don't touch my phone. I don't want you to see what else is on there. Good thing you just confessed your love for this dude, because you just got a really good idea. You just got a really good idea of the level of trust that you could have with him if you guys ever did get together, which is non-existent. If he's the don't look at my phone guy, you can't trust him. Obviously, he's with your friend, so maybe it's some stuff that relates to that, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. My God, this guy sounds special. Sounds like you drunk confessed your love to a really special guy. Super special. Got a lot of NTA. Well, a lot of people's stuff automatically backs up to the cloud. I think most of them are like that. Oh, Zoozle has hers set to not back up. It's probably smart. You missed what the video is of, Stephanie. It is OP was filmed drunk confessing her love to her friend. And he refuses to delete the video, but he's dating her friend. So it could be devastating. Now he's using it to blackmail her, basically. But why would he want to keep it if he's with the best friend, unless he loves her too? Unless he's just using it for blackmail, and he's just that kind of guy who, knows he's doing something shitty and doesn't care because he's using it to control people. That's possible. It's possible. And they've been friends since they were kids. Well, clearly he doesn't value that friendship very much. How old are they? Do we know? We don't know. We don't know how old they are. We need a cake story? Oh my gosh. Don't get me all fired up again. No cake stories today yet. This guy sounds like an ascon one. Yeah, he's something. I don't know if he's an ascon one, but he's definitely a dick. Not a good person at all, for sure. Faux show. Karina says, my ex-boyfriend refused to delete a spicy video of me. He said he's keeping it forever. So I mean, I'm not saying that's okay, but in a situation where you work together and you had videos or photos of each other, that's something. But they were just friends, and I mean, getting drunk and confessing it was the first wrong move, right? Obviously, you wish you could take that back, but it's not happening. I mean, I feel like you did the right thing here, OP. Get it and delete it, because he was obviously going to use it for other things. He was going to use it for blackmail. He was going to use it to control you. He was already doing that. And he can probably restore it. This is the true shitty part here, is that while you went and deleted it on his phone, unless he had it set to not back up like some people do, he can still get his hands on it, which means he's still going to control you. And you may have just set your friendship with his current girlfriend on fire. Entirely possible. Chuck votes for a cake story, and those posts will come out over the next couple of weeks. If somebody asks you to delete something, you delete it, period, Ace says. Agreed. That would be the respectful thing to do. This guy's not a respectful, chivalrous anything. He's just a dick. Tony says, or he's in love with her too and doesn't want to get rid of the video, which is possible, but I would think if that was the case, I don't know. It depends on their ages. If these are late teens, there may be a reason that they're not giving us their ages on here. Because there's a really immature way to handle this, which is what he's doing. And if he does have feelings back for her, going against her wishes and doing something that feels like violating her privacy, it's probably not the way to show your affection back. You know, that's the third grade, you like a girl, so you guys are mean to each other at recess kind of thing. You know what I mean? That's what this feels like. It's possible, but OP says, I don't plan to apologize to him because I feel like he forced my hand, as he should have deleted it when I asked to him. Correct. I would agree. Not the asshole for taking it and deleting it, because he should have done it in the first place. And I guess that's pretty much as far as we can go with this. Sarah and Waffle says, nobody gets that testy about their phone unless they're hiding something. Abso-freaking-lutely. This is a trust thing. Why are we talking about lemon cake? How did we get there? How did we get to lemon cake? You guys are just trying to fire me up now. You're trying. That mother-in-law, by the way, that was a power play. And her getting offended. Okay, I got to give everybody the 30-second version here. Frickin' cake. Mother-in-law was in charge of getting cake for OP's wife's birthday. OP's wife wanted chocolate or tiramisu. That's what she likes. Mother-in-law shows up with a gosh heckin' lemon cake. Lemon. That's just evil. And from that moment on, throughout the live on Monday night, I was just on fire. So apparently I have strong feelings about cake. And now we know. Now we need to know. Okay, let me jump into the next one here. I want to make sure I get these two bonus stories that Tony has given us in. So I'm gonna get through them and not waste any time. Lemon is bomb diggity. Oh man. Okay, that's my point. Debbie hit the nail on the head here. There may be nothing wrong with lemon unless you're a chocolate cake lover and it's your freaking birthday and you're expecting a chocolate cake. And some biznat shows up with a lemon cake just because she wanted to abuse her power and create a scene. Then there's a problem with lemon. Okay, follower submission here. Again, OP, if you're in the chat here and want to raise your hand, go for it. Am I the astronaut for getting a DNA test and finding my father against my mother's wishes? Oh, snap. I, 24 female, grew up in a lovely home with a mom and a dad. When I was 6 to 7, my parents had their own child. At this time, I knew nothing about being adopted by my father. I started to notice that she was treated differently than me, and I became the black sheep of the family. Shit. Shit sticks. As I got into my early teens, I began to ask questions on why I didn't have any photos as a newborn or 1-year-old with my father. They said, well, we were young and lived in separate houses with our parents, and I believed them, but with a gut feeling something wasn't right. As I got older, more things occurred, like my social not coming back to my name, which my mom said was because the hospital messed up and didn't give me my dad's last name at birth. As I got into my late teens and was living on my own, I had several pieces of evidence pointing to being adopted, including a birth certificate stating so. That would do it. My mom refused for years till I was 23 to admit that I was adopted. I have asked multiple times for his name for medical reasons and just to know my parental background, which she refuses to tell me and says it's best that I don't know anything about him. As an adult, I feel like I have the right to decide for myself and to let him decide whether or not to build a relationship with me now or never. That being said, I got a DNA test done and something about it bothers me because I'm doing this behind my mother's back and I know she wouldn't be happy about it. Am I the asshole for getting the DNA test done? Okay, so OP has not reached out to Dad yet. OP doesn't know who Dad is yet, but is planning to run this route. So the only way that I think that this could be not what OP's doing is fine. What her mom did, the only way that I think it could be okay is if Dad, bio dad, and she had reached some kind of agreement where he was going to disappear and she was not to tell the child about who he was because he was like freaking Darth Vader or something like that. It's the only way if there was some kind of mutual agreement here. Sans that, and even with that, OP has every right to try to figure out who her real dad is and to reach out and to at least present the opportunity because a lot changes. How old is she now? 24. A lot changes in 24 years. He could be a completely different person that really wants to have a relationship with her now. He could also not know that she exists. This is a real possibility, and Mom could have hid it from him as well. So this is, man, I don't know. What do you guys think here? What do you think? OP still has a right to know, Melanie says. Cami Court says, sounds like Mom was SA and doesn't want to bring in the trauma. That's a possibility. We have to at least acknowledge that this is a possibility. I'm hoping that's not the case, but gosh dang it, if that So OP really needs to have a conversation with Mom because if it ends up being that, she probably doesn't want to go find this dude. And if she goes and finds this dude before realizing that it's that and then starts connecting dots and then her mom finds out, then this could go a very messy direction very quickly. But you could still find out doing like an ancestry thing, like Kathleen says, online without having to go actually meet with him or establish a relationship. Finding out who he is and establishing a relationship are two different things. So the DNA test, I think, is fine. What you do with that information, I think, would be smart to have a conversation with Mom before that. Ronnie says, what if bio dad is dangerous? Yeah, and that's entirely possible. Like Allie's saying here, too, at this age, if it's for safety reasons or anything that you stated, she should be honest with OP. Oh, Mom should be honest with OP. Yeah, that would solve everything. And maybe OP in this current scenario that you're in, maybe now saying, hey, Mom, I had this DNA test done. I'm going to find out who he is. So it's either I find out through my own digging or you give me your version of the story right now. And she's going to be pissed about that. Understand that your mom is not going to like that. She's going to be pissed about it, but you at least force her hand there to decide whether to tell you the truth or to let you find out on your own. She's going to know that you're going to find out either way when you tell her this. So this is the best chance you have at giving her the opportunity to control the narrative or to letting you find out on your own. Walter says, my ex is adopted. His adopted parents didn't want him to know. Ooh, diversion, or worse, bio as a relative. Also possible. Tracy says DNA, then Google him. Yeah, I'm thinking at this point, finding out is okay, but you have an opportunity right now before you find out to go to your mom and to let her come clean. Caitlin says, my mom didn't tell me until I was 22 that my dad who raised me wasn't my biological dad. You know, I'm Renee, thank you for the cake. Appreciate that. Hey, this is a first. My niece Paisley is in the chat. Hey, Paisley. Hi. She said Uncle D with a waving emoji there. Hey there, Paisley. Yeah, I'll try to watch my mouth now. Yeah. She's my sister who lives in Tennessee. Paisley. Paisley is one of her little girls. So there is a chance. There is a chance here to correct or to let Opie's mom come clean if she goes to her right now. That's about all I see. I don't think there's any harm in knowing, and I would want to know. Luckily, I haven't had to be in that situation at all, but I would want to know. It's not going to change like who your dad was. You know what I mean? It's not going to change who raised you. But unfortunately for OP here, she started getting treated like the black sheep of the family. So it's just complicated, man. It is super, super complicated. I think you just have to be careful and giving mom the opportunity at this point to come clean feels like the right thing to do. It feels right. Well, I'm way behind here, so I'm catching up. Rowan says, Paisley, your uncle D is way cool. Yeah, you remember that, Paisley. You remember next time you come here for Christmas. We get some lightning bolts for Paisley there. Allie says ultimately they pushed her away to hunt for other family. And once they had their own kids, that's when she became the black sheep, which sucks. Okay, we got 5 minutes. I'm going to get the last story in. I made it, right? I made it. Hey-o, and it's not a super long story. We got this. Coffee, water, we're going to make it happen. Paisley Thunder is in the house. Okay, this one is from the AITA subreddit, and it is, am I the astronaut for telling my sister her 4 kids are her +1? I'm 30 male in the midst of planning a wedding and deciding everything regarding the guest list. We have had a hard cap of people allowed given the venue's small size. We can only have 105 people. Anything after that would not be allowed due to fire codes and venue policy. I have an older sister, Mia, whose life is a bit of a mess right now. She and her latest ex-partner and dad of one of her kids broke up in the last 6 months. She has 4 kids and they are all living at my parents' house for the time being. We opted to not have a child-free wedding after there being so much drama about it, so Mia's 4 kids between 4 and 11 will be at our wedding. She recently got her invite that stated her name and her 4 kids' names. She then called me and said, I assume as an adult I also get a +1. We told her no, she's not in a serious relationship, and she and her kids are already about 5% of our total guest list. Our caterer also doesn't charge less for kids, so we're paying about $400 for those 4 kids to be there. We don't want to pay another $100 for some random that she'd bring. My Google Assistant just started talking to me and said, sorry, I don't understand. I'm like, me neither. Our caterer also doesn't charge less for kids, so we're paying about $400 for those 4 kids to be there. We don't want to pay another $100 for some random that she'd bring. She's not dating anyone, but said that she could easily find a date or bring a friend to have someone to dance with. We told her she has 4 kids there. That should be more than enough instead of having a +1. My dad is on my side and is tired of her taking up in their house. My mom is a little more sympathetic and saying I should allow her to have a +1 because that's what you do for adults. Spending $600 on just my sister, her kids, and a date when she's not seeing anyone seriously just seems ridiculous to me, though. She is pretty ticked off, though. Am I being the asshole here? I'm sorry. Am I being the a-hole? Am I being the astronaut here? Forgot Paisley was around. Oh, yeah. Kelly, thank you so much for the lightning bolts. Sydney, thank you so much for the roses. Appreciate that. Renee, thank you for the roses as well. We've got some NTAs here. NTA. You're wedding your choice. You get a +1 for serious long-term partners, Sarah and Waffles says. Yeah, it's not like she can make up that she's in a relationship because she's living with your parents. They know pretty much everything that's going on there. If she wants a +1 so bad, then she could pay the $100, Jerry says. And I was thinking that too. Like, if she really wants to bring someone, she can cough up the $100. And as soon as you offer that to her, she's going to be like, nah, I'm good. And that would probably be the easiest way to get out of this is make it available. But if you have all 105 slots on your guest list locked up, that's not an option. And you can use that to your advantage here too and say, look, we're at max already. If you're wanting to bring some rando douchey dude, you're going to have to leave one of your kids at home. And I don't think you want to do that. And then she'd be like, oh no, I'll do that. I'm game. I'm just kidding. Let's hope she wouldn't say that. But if you're not at max capacity yet and you say you can bring someone if you pay the $100 for it, she'd probably back off pretty quickly here. but not the asshole at all for saying that the 4 kids are her plus one. I mean, it's I don't know. Unless she wants to pay for it. Sister wants a date, find a sitter. There you go. Zool has a really good point there. If she wants to bring a date and can find a sitter and bring the date instead of her kids, then sure. But it sounds like you want the kids there. It's your choice, though. It's your frickin' wedding. You get to make the decision. She doesn't. People trying to decide things for other people's weddings is almost as triggering as cake for whatever reason. Team No Randos, Ashley Hunn says. There you go. Kimberly, thank you so much for the lightning bolt. Appreciate that. Candy Thunder had one here. Zach, Candy Thunder, your phone auto-corrected. She was responding to Lisa Johnson, who was asking about the kind of coffee that I drank, and Candy's response was not. It's Jot, J-O-T. And if you go to Linktree, which is linked in all of our bios, we actually have a link there to Jot, and use the code Dusty20 to save 20% there. Stupid autocorrect. It gets me all the time. All the time. So in this case, OP, not the asshole. Anybody who tries to flex on you and cause you pain for your wedding, just tell them to screw off. Get out of here. It's my wedding. Okay. Reminder as we wrap up here, we have sticker packs available at dusty-thunder.com. If you go to the homepage, I now have a button up in the hero section that will take you straight to those sticker packs if you want to shop at those there. They're really stinking cool. There's one sticker sheet that has like 10 different ones on it, and it is super cool. I can't wait to get mine in. Also at dustythunderswag.com, separate site. This is where we have some t-shirts right now. Spring, who is the service that site is through, sent us a code, Friends and Fans 25, and it is the ampersand for and. So Friends, ampersand, Fans 25 will save you 25% through April 17th. So very cool of them. Thank you, Spring. And also Candy Thunder is returning to the podcast. We are filming April 11th, and Tony Sparks' podcast appearance, his very first time on camera, period. Right? Came out this past Sunday. If you haven't checked it out yet, definitely go check it out. It is out on YouTube and all of the podcast audio channels. And that's it. We made it. 6:02. Look at that, with 2 bonus stories worked in because I read really fast. And I didn't get super mad because we didn't talk about cake, except for in the chat talking about the lemon cake. Don't you be bringing that lemon cake on me. Don't you put that evil on me. We do need some kind of some cake shirt now. We need a cake design. Dusty said to stay home. There you go. Thank you guys so much for all the love. Thank you for being here for the live, for supporting us. Those of you who are new to the Storm, the VIP group, thank you so much for supporting what we do. It is what allows us to keep going on this. So thank you. It's a big deal to us. More than I can exclaim here. After the stream is over, we'll go through and send you the invite so we can message directly. And then after you accept that, if you have it locked down, I'll send you the link to join that Facebook VIP group. Everybody else, will see you with new post videos starting tomorrow. And if you aren't following on YouTube yet, definitely go do it. Turn on the notifications so you can see when I go live there. It's either Sunday nights or Monday nights. We don't have a firm weekly schedule like we do for TikTok. We like to keep you on your toes. You know what I mean? We got to keep it lively up in here. But you can expect the posts over, the next week or so to contain a lot of me being pissed off about cake for some reason. So get excited. It's coming. Thank you guys so much. Have a wonderful night. Dusty Thunder is shutting it down here. Tony, Spark, thank you so much for hanging out with me again for this live and helping pivot and extend this show so we have a couple more stories to read here. Big love. Big love. Thank you all so much. Have a good evening. use the mouse and stalk the live stream.
All right, guys. Have a good night. Appreciate it.